Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and talk through this. I made this clock. It's a Hexagon. I made it out of the number 9 kit I got from Stone Coat Countertops. I believe it's a Boxelder. And I added some walnut into surround it. Made these little diamond-shaped pieces and a nice band to go around. And I filled it with clock parts, and I made a couple errors along the way, and in all though it looks really good at the end. So enjoy the view, and I'll add a couple comments here and there about what I think I could have improved on, at least in the future. I'm just stirring. It takes like 2 minutes to stir, so there's like a big slow time here. I'll probably just, stir, 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 stir. Oh, fast forward. Later that day, we are still stirring. Stir, 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 stir. Oh, my little echo hasn't rang yet.
No rain is expected.
There we go. Now it's time to pour. Okay, so we've got a clear coat that I'm going to put down first. And it's very thin, just a little bit to prime everything up. So this was actually a really good thing that I did here, pouring this first layer on top of the on top first. It really actually made a difference in the end, uh, because I put the cogs directly on top of it while it was still just a little bit tacky. It held quite a few of them in place, and on the reverse side, uh, you can actually see the cogs, whereas on the front, since they have a weight and they've sunk, you can't see them at all. But that was part of the original intention of making this wormhole clock, would be to you know make the face of it look cohesive and kind of whole and normal, while the reverse would show the actual mechanisms. Here I've cut a shape and filled it in with the Tyvek. And this is actually the place for the clock mechanism itself to go in the future. So I don't actually have to cut it out like he did in his original video, where he actually had to drill out the center. I've taken care of that in my plan already. Our wood, the final thickness is approximately half an inch. I think here we were actually at 3/4 of an inch, but when I'm done and sanding and all that, oh, here's the pour. Okay, so we missed a little bit. I should have recorded it, but I poured a big one on top of all those. All those. Anyways, this is where I have gone wrong even more, in my opinion, because number one, I poured way too much. Number two, then I come back and I try to color and do some, some swirlies. And because I poured too much, it all goes away in the sanding. Um, anyways, because it took forever to just to get it flush again because I had poured too high. I over calculated how much was in the space, and it's a hexagon and it's slightly irregular, and I guess I just gave far too much. And here I am, pouring in a swirl. It's almost completely lost in the final piece, to tell you the truth. But I have a little bit of fun playing with it, so I guess it's not so bad. It's just, a waste of money, and that's a little sad. Yeah, so I squirted some brown with the alcohol mixture, and here I am, playing with the torch a little bit, getting used to it. There's still big bubbles in it here and there. I don't know. After all, it was my first time doing a pour. Okay, so here I've decided to get the heat gun out, and I'm preparing it and warming it up, and I wasn't getting as much as I wanted with the torch. I wanted movement, and I started getting movement with the heat gun. Uh, but of course, at this point here, it didn't matter at all because I had overpoured so much that it was no longer really going to show at all in the final product once I got it sand flush again. But it was still fun to do. Next time, I will definitely make a much more shallow river and basically come over with clear, like a clear river on top of it. um yeah, yeah, that would be better. Anyways, that's how I spent my New Year's Eve. Okay, at this point here, I've gone ahead and sanded, and it's taking me forever. Um, and I finally got it flush. So you can see the front's looking pretty decent. It's not awesome. decent. I mean, yeah, I mean it is awesome, but it's, you know, my overpour really lost a lot of the color that I really wanted in there. So I'm not 100% happy, but it is properly um, flat, and that's how I wanted it. So, you know, all in all, it's how I want it. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm preparing for the clear coat. As you can see, I've built a border around my bottom sheet, and I'm just going to go ahead and pour right on top of it. I've got this sitting on a little some pegs, and it's sitting above about an inch, which is just enough room for me to get my fingers underneath there most of the time. And as you can see, this was from the number 9 Woodworkers School Kit that I got from SEC. And all in all, you can see some really great walnut and grain from the Boxelder that when the clear coat goes on there, just looks spectacular. All right, so I'm finally ready. I finished stirring, and I am going to pour the clear coat. Here we go. Now, what I started doing is actually using the top of the cup to act as my squeegee. And I actually found that to be quite good for this small piece here. I do still use the other tools, but as a starter tool, getting it laid down, this cup was really handy. Here I have the clock pieces all together. I've actually done like 3 layers on each side of clear coat. And I have a clock on there. This particular clock didn't work. I had to buy another one. Chinese products suck. Okay, we're going through some of the photos from the build. These are some of the earlier photos. The piece obviously was shrunk down after this. I did change quite a bit. But it came out really nice in the end. So I was actually quite happy with the wood portion of it. Here's the basic piece right here. And here we are with the final photos. Reverse. You see the brain. This is a in between after I have already done one on the back. It's a close up of the reverse. A real close up of the reverse. There's the indentation I created to house it. And I actually drilled straight through that center cog too. It was perfect.